So, in your opinion, and you see so many entrepreneurs, especially at like a higher level, struggle with family and kids and business and this idea like, is there balance? Is there not balance? Like, how do I,
Yeah.
what has been your approach thus far? Obviously, you're talking about maybe pivoting and going into a new season right now, right? And maybe, putting a little bit more time into work again. But even just getting to where you're at, I mean, what's your kind of thoughts on balance?
So I've thought a lot about this, right? And I think I've done it the best way I know how. And I think I've done it pretty good. So I'll explain. I think you have to look at time horizons further back. So I was out of balance for the first 5 years of my real estate career. And so my buckets go faith, family, health, friends and hobbies, and then money. Money used to be number one.
Yep.
We could be at dinner, me and my wife on Valentine's, and if like the Zillow lead called,
Yep.
I'd be like, honey, I love you, but I'm taking this.
Yep.
Like money, my actions around money trumped everything. Even though I said I was this or said I was that, I was obsessive. However, that I don't regret it, and here's why. It got me to a stabilization point where I'm financially free. I can live on just my rental income, like not pie in the sky. Like I'm good. I don't have to go do anything. So that allowed me, but here's what most people do is they're on this hamster wheel, on this money wheel, and then they don't realize they're on it and they get allured by people thought I was the man, and they were like, man, Temp, can you come speak? Yeah. And Temp, like the likes and the attention and this, I was able to see that for what it was. And I chose to jump off the wheel and say, no, thank you. I don't, because there's just always a bigger wheel.
Yep.
And I said, know what? I'm going to be patient, let what I built do what it does. I'm going to continue to have growth, but it's going to be a little bit more slower progressing. Because if I would have stayed at the speed I was, dude,
who knows?
Who knows? But I chose that, like, hey, money is going to be the fuel that fuels my faith, my family, my health, my friends and hobbies. And money is only the tool that I use. It is no longer going to own me. It owned my thoughts. Dude, quite frankly, the last 2 weeks with our market getting shifty is the most I've thought about money in 3 years.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking a lot about that. Like, why is that, Temp? And the glaring red flag is because I have real risk in the high-end properties. That's the truth of it.
Yep.
So we'll see how that plays out. I think that company is still going to go do very well. I'm going to go do very well on those deals. But in the event I don't, I want to be prepared.
Sure.
So here I am. I probably ratchet up from 10 hours a week to 25. Yep. When we talk about balance, I'll have a family meeting. I talk to my kids about money, assets, time. Like today, I worked Monday, right? And then today, I got home at like 11 just to pop by and say hi. And the boys were like, you worked 2 days in a row. And I was like, well, and I have one more thing I got to go do. And they were like, what? Like, what do you mean, Dad? Like,
yeah.
And I'm like, boys, we're going to have a family meeting tonight because I want to talk to you about what opportunity is coming up and why Dad might have to do some things that are a little bit different than the last 2 years and help them understand that, right? So
I like that a lot.
There's no...
Do you think, what are the age ranges from your youngest to oldest?
So I have my he'll be 16 in August. Okay. And he's with his mom most of the time because now he's in high school sports and stuff, which is like all encompassing. It didn't make sense for 50-50. So he's there most of the time, but he's amazing. And we have a great relationship. Then I have Noah, who's 11, baby Templeton, who's 6. We tried for Vivian. She was supposed to be our last. We wanted a little girl. We got Vivian. And then we had Irish twins. God bless us with Mara.
No way.
Like,
wow.
Like, yeah, I think first attempt back, bro, or something.
That's
like,
incredible.
Like,
yeah.
Come on.
Well, congratulations on that.
So, yeah, I have 1, 6, 11, and 16.
Gotcha.
But I want to, let me circle back to this point because, dude, I'm like ADHD. So,
you're good.
I'll go.
Because I want to talk to you more about that, what you were saying, too.
So, for 5 years, I was obsessed. And I sacrificed everything to become financially free. And I chose to jump off the wheel. So, if you look at a 5-year time horizon, if that's what you're looking at, I'm out of balance. Let's move that to a 10-year horizon. Those 5 years gave me 5 years of leisure. Now I've moved to a 50-50 balance. Those 5 years of obsession, when we move to a 20-year, it's now a quarter of my time. Is that a fair trade? Those 5 years of obsessions for 15 years of leisure? Yes. Yeah. So I think big thinkers and wealthy people and people who are thinking about money are patient and they look at things in a long game. I don't make decisions based on next month or or even the rest of this quarter or year. I make decisions on assets in 5-year, 10-year increments.
Yeah. I love that. I think it's incredible. I think every real entrepreneur or real visionary, you can't get around the season you're talking about of like, dude, I was just relentless about money, and that was my everything, and I'll take the call Valentine's Day night. And I think anybody that really builds anything worth a dang, like they have to go through that season. I don't think I've ever met anybody that didn't go through that. Like they just were balanced since day one. They went to the gym all the time, and they were perfectly balanced to their family and they gave enough time and energy to their business, because there's just not enough time in the day. When you go through, there's certain seasons where you just have to.
When you want results, you need obsession.
Yeah.
Like when I get super fit, it's because I'm obsessed about it. And when I, just crushing business ideas, it's because I'm obsessed about them, right? So that's where I think it's like the book, The One Thing.
Yeah.
All right. If you play the middle, you're kind of vanilla. You're not going to do anything great. But if you obsess and sprint and then obsess and sprint. So like, dude, when I'm with my wife and kids, I'm with my wife and kids. It's pretty hard to get me like at all. And when I work, I will get more done in 2 hours than most people get done in a week.
Sure.
And I do this thing where I write out everything in my brain that feels like it needs to be hammered, and I don't get up until it's done. It usually takes me like 40 minutes, and I just eat all these frogs, hard conversations, whatever, and I just stand up. I'm like, I'm the man.
And you feel like $1 million.
I'm like, dude, I'm a beast. Like I just tell myself that. I'm like, I just crush like what normal humans would take a month to do, and it sucked, but I got through it. And now when I go hang out with my kids, I don't have that lingering conversation in my head. Gosh, I really got to call Austin because that deal's not going the way we hoped, and he's going to want a price drop. I mean, who knows?
Sure.
Those aren't in my head because I handled them, and I'm accountable, and I lean in. My habits, dude, if something needs to be solved, if you and I were sideways at all, I am driving to your office, going to look you in the eyes and say, like, we have to solve this because my heart can't carry it. And it ruins my meditations. I meditate twice a day. And if something's lingering, you keep popping up in my brain and you're ruining my meditation. So I need to go solve this. And I had to have a conversation like that last week with someone I love and care about. We got sideways on something through a conduit of someone else who we needed to just speak.
Yep.
And we spoke, and I was like, look, I just need you to know that I see you, I love you, I appreciate you. And I was unaware of whatever happened, but it was in my ecosystem, so I take responsibility for it. And I need to tell you that I'm sorry. That meant everything to her.
I like that.
And then the very next day when I meditated, guess what? She didn't pop up in my brain once.
Yeah.
But prior to that, there's this little scratch of like, you need to handle this. You need to handle this.
I love that. And I want to come back to that in a minute and talk about the heart, and the integrity. And not everybody, I don't think, possesses what you're talking about right now, I certainly do. Actually, it's funny you say all of that because I'm the same way, dude. Like, I can't sleep at night. If I get into an argument, even like my girlfriend, anything, dude, like I'm the kind of guy where I immediately want to fix it, right?
Yeah.
Unless there's literally no possible way. Like if God forbid, like I get into an argument and like I have to walk into this meeting and it's like, I can't cancel. Then obviously like but then it'll really make whatever I'm about to do like way more difficult, right?
Yeah.
Because all I can think
I carry
about
it.